Hey, what's up guys? This is Catch Up Gaming. This is my first video on YouTube and I thought it'd be fitting to play one of my favorite games, which is the Phoenix Wright series. And I'm going to start from the very beginning, which is the Ace Attorney title. And I hope you enjoy. If you like it, please subscribe. Damn it. Why me? I can't get caught. Not like this. I I've got to find someone to pin this on. Someone like him. I'll make it look like he did it. August 3rd, 9:47 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Boy, am I nervous. Phoenix Wright coming in. Right. Oh, hiya, Chief. Phew, I'm glad I made it on time. Well, I have to say, Phoenix, I'm impressed. Not everyone takes on a murder trial right off the bat like this. It says a lot. It says a lot about you and your client as well. Um, thanks. Actually, it's because I owe him a favor. A favor? You mean you knew the defendant before this case? Yes. Actually, I kind of owe my current job to him. He's one of the reasons I became an attorney. Well, that's news to me. I want to help him out any way I can. I just really want to help him. I owe him that much. It's over. My life, everything. It's all over. Isn't that your client screaming over there? Yeah, that's him. Death, despair. Oh, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna die. It sounds like he wants to die. Um, yeah. Nick! Hey. Hey there, Larry. Dude, I'm so guilty. Tell them I'm guilty. Give me the death sentence. I ain't afraid to die. What? What's wrong, Larry? Oh, it's all over. I'm finished. Finished. I can't live in a world without her. I can't. Who who took her away from me, Nick? Who did this? Aw, Nick, you gotta help me. Who took my baby away? Hmm. The person responsible for your girlfriend's death? The newspapers say it was you. My name is Phoenix Wright. Here's the story. My first case is a fairly simple one. A young woman was killed in her apartment. The guy they arrested was the unlucky sap dating her. Larry Buzz, my best friend since grade school. Our school had a saying, when something smells, it's usually the buzz. In the 23 years I've known him, it's usually been true. He has a knack for getting himself in trouble. Wait, 23? Huh. One of the things I can say though is it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. The reason I say that is, doesn't it take, you have to graduate college and then like 3 years of law school to become an attorney? I mean, there's the bar exam as well. Usually that puts you around like 25, but maybe that's different in Japan. Um, One thing I can say though, it's usually not his fault. He just has terrible luck. But I know better than anyone that he's a good guy at heart. That, and I owe him one, which is why I took the case, to clear his name. And that's just what I'm going to do. Okay, 10 a.m., same courtroom. The court is now in session for the trial of Mr. Larry Buzz. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Mr. Wright? This is your first trial, is it not? Yes, Your Honor. A little nervous. Your conduct during this trial will decide the fate of your client. Murder is a serious charge. For your client's sake, I hope you can control your nerves. Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Wright, given the circumstances, I think we should have a test to ascertain your readiness. Yes, Your Honor. Oh, hands shaking, eyesight fading. The test will consist of a few questions. Answer them clearly and concisely. Please state the name of the defendant in this case. The defendant is Larry Buzz. The defendant, well, that's Larry Buzz, Your Honor. Correct. Just keep your wits about you and you'll do fine. Next question. This is a murder trial. Tell me, what's the victim's name? Whew, I know this one. Glad I read the case report to cover so many times. It's... Wait. Uh-oh. No. No way. I forgot. I'm drawing a total blank here. Phoenix, are you absolutely sure you're up to this? You don't even know the victim's name? Oh, the victim. Of course, I know the victim's name. I just forgot. Temporarily. I think I feel a migraine coming on. Look, the defendant's name is listed in the court record. Just touch the court record button to check at any time, okay? Alright, let's check out the court record. There's our badge. Let's take a look at that. Attorney's badge. Type other, one of my possessions. No one would believe I was defense attorney if I didn't carry this. True. Okay, Cindy's autopsy report. Received from Maya Fey. Time of death. Oh, Mia Fey. Maya is the sister. Time of death, July 31st, 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. Cause of death, loss of blood due to blunt trauma. So, I want to look at the profiles. Mia Fey, Chief Attorney at Fey & Co., my boss and a very good defense attorney. Larry Buzz, gender male. The defense, in this case, a likable guy who was my friend in grade school. Cindy Stone, the victim in this case. A model, she lived in an apartment by herself. Okay. Remember to check it often. Do it for me, please. I'm begging you. Let's hear your answer. Who is the victim in this case? It is Cindy Stone. The victim's name is Cindy Stone. Correct. Now tell me, what was the cause of death? She died because she was hit with a blunt object. I remember it said blunt force trauma. She was struck once by a blunt object. Correct. You've answered all my questions. I see no reason why we shouldn't proceed. You seem much more relaxed, Phoenix Wright. Good for you. Thank you, Your Honor. Because I don't feel relaxed. That's for sure. Well then, First, a question for the prosecution, Mr. Payne. Yes, Your Honor. As Mr. Wright just told us, the victim was struck with a blunt object. Would you explain to the court just what that object was? The murder weapon was this statue of the Thinker. It was found lying on the floor, next to the victim. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. Add it to the court record. Right. Be sure to pay attention to any evidence added during the trial. Okay, let's take a look right now. Okay, weapon. A statue in the shape of the Thinker. It's rather heavy. Okay, that's it. Alright, that evidence is the only ammunition you have in court. Touch the court record button to check the court record frequently. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its first witness. The prosecution calls the defendant, Mr. Butts, to the stand. Chief, what do I do now? Pay attention. You don't want to miss any information that might help your client's case. You'll get your chance to respond to the prosecution later, so be ready. Let's just hope he doesn't say anything unfortunate. Uh-oh. Larry gets excited easily. This could be bad. Mr. Butts, is it not true that the victim had recently dumped you? Hey, watch it, buddy. We were great together. We were Romeo and Juliet, Cleopatra and Mark Antony. Didn't they all die? I wasn't dumped. She just wasn't taking my phone calls or seeing me. Ever. What's it to you anyway? Mr. Butts, when you described it generally, what you describe is generally what we mean by dumped. In fact, she had completely abandoned you and was seeing other men. She had just returned from overseas with one of them the day before the murder. What do you mean, one of them? Lies, all of it, lies. I don't believe a word of it. Oh, he's so cute. Your Honor, the victim's passport. According to this, she was in Paris until the day before she died. Passport added to the court record. Indeed. She appears to have returned the day before the murder. Dude, no way. The victim was a model, but did not have a large income. It appears that she had several sugar daddies. Daddies? Sugar? He has no idea what that is. Yes, older men who give her money and gifts. She took their money and used it to support her lifestyle. Dude! We can clearly see what kind of woman this Miss Stone was. Tell me, Mr. Butts, what did you think of her now? What do you think of her now? Right. I don't think you want him to answer that question. Yeah. Larry has a way of running his mouth in all the wrong directions. Should I wait and see what happens? Stop him from answering? We shouldn't let him, right? So let's stop him. My client had no idea the victim was seeing other men. That question is irrelevant to this case. Oof, wince. Dude, Nick, what do you mean, irrelevant? That cheating she-dog. I'm gonna die. I'm just gonna drop dead. Yeah, and when I meet her in the afterlife, I'm gonna get to the bottom of this. Let's continue with the trial, shall we? I believe the accused's motive is clear to everyone. Yes, quite. Oh boy, this is so not looking good. Next question. You went to the victim's apartment on the day of the murder, did you not? Gulp. Well, did you? Or did you not? Hey? Heh. Well, maybe I did and maybe I didn't. Uh-oh, he went. What do I do? Have him answer honestly and stop him from answering. Honestly, it's been so long since I played this. Last time I played this, which is probably just, and I've only played it once. I don't know what the right answer is. Let's stop him. Well, they probably have evidence, right? So it doesn't matter. I know. I'll send him oh no! I'll send him a signal. Tell the truth. Yeah. I was there. I went. Oh, okay. All right. I thought he's not gonna get it and like lie and get us caught in the lie. Order. Well, Mr. Butts. Dude, chill. She wasn't home, man. So like, I didn't see her. Objection! Your Honor, the defendant is lying. Lying? The prosecution would like to call a witness who can prove Mr. Butts is lying. Well, that simplifies matters. Who is your witness? The man who found the victim's body, just before making the gruesome discovery. He saw the defendant fleeing the scene of the crime. Order in the court. Mr. Payne, the prosecution may call its witness. Yes, Your Honor. This is bad. On the day of the murder, my witness was selling newspapers at the victim's building. Please bring Mr. Frank Sawit to the stand. Oh, Frank saw it. Okay, to the stand. Yeah, Phoenix Wright always have these like really funny like puns and jokes, and that's part of the reason why I like it so much. Mr. Sawit, you sell newspaper subscriptions. Is this correct? Oh yes, newspapers, yes. Mr. Sawit, you may proceed with your testimony. Please tell the court what you saw on the day of the murder. Witness account. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. Thinking it was strange, I looked inside the apartment. Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. I quailed in fright and found myself unable to go inside. I thought to call the police immediately. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. I remember the time exactly. It was 1 p.m. The man who ran was, without a doubt, the defendant, sitting right over there. Oh, he looks so slimy. Larry, why didn't you tell the truth? I can't defend you against a testimony like that. But he is telling the truth, and the witness is the one lying, and we know this because this is the first trial, like kind of tutorial, and we know who did it. Okay. Incidentally, why wasn't the phone in the victim's apartment working? Your Honor, at the time of the murder, there was a blackout in the building. Aren't phones supposed to work during a blackout? Yes, Your Honor. However, some cordless phones do not function normally. The phone that Mr. Sawit used was one of those. Your Honor, I have a record of the blackout for your perusal. Now, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. You may begin your cross-examination. Cross-examination, Your Honor. Alright, right, this is it. The real deal. What exactly am I supposed to do? Why, you exposed the lies in the testimonies the witness just gave. Lies? What? He was lying? Your client is innocent, right? Then that witness must have lied in his testimony. Or is your client really guilty? Ah! How do I prove he's not? You hold the key. It's in the evidence. Compare the witness's testimony to the evidence at hand. There's bound to be a contradiction in there. First, find the contradictions between the court record and the witness testimony. Then, once you've found the contradicting evidence, present it and rub it in the witness's face. Okay. Touch the court record button and point out the contradictions in the testimony. Witness account. Okay. I was going door to door selling subscriptions when I saw a man fleeing an apartment. Okay, let's... okay, hold on. Isn't a man leaving an apartment a common sight? I find it odd you would take notice of him. I don't know. He just seems strange to me, that's all. Like he was mad and yet frightened at the same time. Just like a criminal fleeing the scene of a crime. The defense requests that witness refrain from conjecture. Of course. What the witness means is that the man he saw looked suspicious. So what happened next? And I thought he must be in a hurry because he left the door half open behind him. So I think the strategy with most of these Phoenix Wright games is you want to press all of their testimonies just to get more information. Some of them are not useful and some of them might give a clue as to, you know, if this is important, and we'll add that to the testimony and something like that. So I'm going to press every single testimony, and that's kind of just my style of playing normally anyway. Hope you guys don't mind that. If you want to do something else, cut it short, you can let me know in the comments down below. Half open, you say? Yes, the door was open halfway, yes. I watched for a moment, but no one came to the door. That's odd, in a big city like this, I thought. I see, and what happened next? Thinking it is strange, I looked inside the apartment. What gave you the idea to do that? Well, the door was half open, you see. Isn't it only human to want to peek? We climb mountains because they are there. It's the same thing. Truer words have never been spoken. Anyone would look inside. Huh. Why did pain cut him off so quickly? So, you look into the apartment. What happened then? Then I saw her lying there, a woman, not moving, dead. Are you sure she was dead? Well, no. I guess I wasn't. But she wasn't moving at all, and there was blood everywhere. I guess that would look fatal to anyone. Very well, what happened next? I quailed and fried and found myself unable to go inside. So you didn't touch anything in the apartment? Yes, I mean, no, nothing. Okay, what happened next? I thought to call the police immediately. You thought to call the police. Does that mean you didn't actually call them? Please, listen to the rest of the testimony. You thought to call the police. What happened next? Yeah, that was one of the testimony that, you know, if you pressed it, nothing. It doesn't give you anything more. However, the phone in her apartment wasn't working. The phone in her apartment wasn't working. Yes, I mean, no, it wasn't, right. But you said you didn't go into the apartment, or did you? Oh, that. I can explain that. There was a cordless phone on the shelf in the entranceway. I reached inside and tried using that to call. And that phone wasn't working, correct? What happened next? I went to a nearby park and found a public phone. Okay. Why'd you use a public phone? Well, you see, I don't have a cell phone. And being in the middle of the afternoon, there was no answer at the nearby apartments. Alright, what time did you call again? I remember the time exactly, it was 1 p.m. 1 p.m.? Are you certain? Yes, absolutely. He seemed really confident. 1 p.m.? Right. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Present some evidence to contradict him. Remember the time exactly, it was 1 p.m. Okay. Let's see our evidence. Time of death. Loss. Okay, so he called before the person even died. Victim arrived for the murder. Electricity to Miss Stone's building was out from noon to 6 p.m. on the day of the crime. So that fits. I think maybe this one, because he called to report the murder before the time of death. Okay, objection. You found the body at 1 p.m. Are you sure? Yes, it was 1 p.m. for certain. Yeah, that's right. Frankly, I find that hard to believe. Your statement directly contradicts the autopsy report. The autopsy notes the time of death at sometime after 4 p.m. There was no body to find at 1 p.m. How do you explain this 3-hour gap? That's right, Mr. Salase. Oh, that. This is trivial. The witness merely forgot the time. After his testimony, I find that hard to believe. Mr. Saad, why were you so certain that you found the body at 1 p.m.? Gee, that's a really good question. Great job, Wright. Way to put him on the spot. That's all you have to do. Point out the contradictions. Lies always beget more lies. See through one, and their whole story falls apart. Wait, I remember now. Would you care to give your testimony again? Okay, so he's gonna modify his testimony. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a video of a tape program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about the misunderstanding. Convenient. It's always so convenient. They just change their testimony like that. I see. You heard a voice saying the time on a taped program. Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Right. You know what to do. I've got this one. Okay. Let's see. You see, when I found the body, I heard the time. I think that one's fine. There was a voice saying the time. It was probably coming from the television. Let's see what he has to say about that. Are you sure it was a television and not a radio? Well, no, I guess it might have been a radio. Incidentally, there was no radio on the premise. There was only one large television. Right. I can't put my finger on it, but something about this seems fishy. Something about hearing the television. The witness has testified he heard the time. Oh, but it was 3 hours off, wasn't it? I guess the victim must have been watching a tape program. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. Terribly sorry about misunderstanding. Okay, let's see what we got. For the murder. Hearing. Okay, the electricity is off, so there's no way he could hear the television because there was no electricity. Let's see which testimony. That's why I thought it was 1 p.m. I guess. Probably coming from television. No, it can't be. Objection! Hold it right there. The prosecution said there was a blackout at the time of the discovery. And this record proves it. Oh. couldn't have heard a television or a video. Gah! Ugh! The defense has a point. Do you have an explanation for this, Mr. Syatt? No, I find it quite puzzling myself. Quite! Ah! Wait, I remember now. You see, when he gets scared, his wig kind of pops up. Yeah, it's little things like that for Phoenix, right? It's really awesome. I love it. Wait, I remember now. Mr. Syatt, the court would prefer to hear an accurate testimony from the very beginning. These constant corrections are harming your credibility. That, and you seem rather distraught. My apologies, Your Honor. It might have been the shock of finding the body. Very well, Mr. Syatt. Let's hear your testimony once more, please. Hearing the time, okay. Third time's a charm, right? No. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Yeah. The murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. That must have been what I saw. You saw a clock? I guess that would explain it. The defense may cross-examine the witness. So if you saw a clock, gladly. The clock would have been showing the right time, right? Like, then you don't have an explanation of why you thought it was 1 p.m. Is my logic. Actually, I didn't hear the time. I saw it. There was a table clock in the apartment, wasn't there? Let's press it. A table clock? Was there a clock at the scene? This is the first I've heard of it. Yeah, the murder weapon. The killer used it to hit the victim. Oh, so he's saying the murder weapon is the clock? The murder weapon? Yes, the table clock that was used as a weapon. That's what I just said. Did you doze off in the middle of my testimony or something? Something's fishy here. That must have been what I saw. Okay, murder weapon is not the clock. The murder weapon is the statue of the thinker. Too easy. Come on. Just wait a moment. The murder weapon wasn't a clock. It was the statue. Now, how is this supposed to be a clock? Ooh, you with your objections and your evidence. Just who do you think you are? Just answer the question, Mr. Syatt. Hey, I saw it there, okay? That's a clock. Your Honor, if I may. Yes, Mr. Payne. Look, he's getting sweaty now. As the witness stated, the statue is indeed a clock. The neck is a switch. You just tilt it and it says the time out loud. As it doesn't look like a clock, I submit it as a statue. My apologies. I see. So the murder weapon was a table clock after all. Well, Mr. Wright, it appears that the witness's testimony was correct. This is a clock. Do you have any problem with his testimony just now? Of course I do, because if everybody else who's seen it sees it as a statue, you have to like really examine it to be able to know that it's a clock. And if you say you never went into the room, how do you even, like, how could you possibly know there was a clock? So yes, I do have a problem. Your Honor, there's a gaping hole in the witness's testimony. The only way he could have known the weapon was a clock is to hold it in his hand. Yet the witness testifies that he's never entered the apartment. Clearly a contradiction. Indeed. The witness knew it was a clock because he went into the apartment. You're lying. You were inside the apartment on the day of the murder. Oh yeah? Prove it. Prove I went in there. I'll do better than that. I can prove you were the one who killed her. Whoa! That escalated rather quickly. Oh my gosh. You struck her with a clock and shook off the blow trigger. Blow triggered, and the shock of the blow triggered the clock's voice. Okay, so I played this a while ago, a couple years ago, and looking back, this is a big jump in conclusion, going from you went into the apartment to you're the killer who murdered her. But anyway, that was the sound you heard. Order in the court. Intriguing. Please continue, Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Saw it. The sound must have left quite an impression on you. Understandable, since the murder weapon spoke just as you hit the victim. The victim. That voice was burned into your mind. That's why you were so certain about the time. Objection. What's the meaning of this? This is all baseless conjecture. Baseless? Just look at the witness's face. Would the witness care to elaborate? Did you strike the victim with the clock? That day, I never. Look, the clock, I heard. No, I mean, I saw. Oh my god. Shut up. I hate you. Oh my gosh, look at him. Oh, it's always so good when you break the victim and they lose their cool. It's hilarious that he threw the wig at Phoenix's face though. And Phoenix's face, oh my god. Gold. It was him, I tell you. I saw him. He killed her, and he should burn. Give him death. Order in the court, I say. Your Honor, a moment, please. There isn't a shred of evidence supporting the defense's claim. Mr. Wright. Your Honor? You claim the sound the witness heard came from the clock. Do you have any evidence? The whole case is riding on this. I'd better think it through carefully. Yes, Your Honor. The sound Mr. Saw heard was definitely this clock. A fact which is clear if you simply try sounding the clock or examine the clock's batteries, ask neighbors. Try sounding the clock? Let's sound the clock now, here in this court, Your Honor. May I have the clock? Ask the court to listen very carefully. I think it's 8:25. That certainly is a strange way to announce the time. Well, he is the thinker after all. So, we heard the clock. What are your conclusions, Mr. Wright? Mr. Payne, can you tell me what time it is now? It's 11:25. So it's exactly 3 hours off. As you can see, this clock is exactly 3 hours slow. Precisely the discrepancy between what Mr. Saw heard and the actual time of death. So, Mr. Sawit, try to talk your way out of this one. Ha! You forgot one thing! Uh-oh. What's he talking about? Well, it may seem like that clock is running 3 hours slow. It proves nothing. How do you know it was running 3 hours slow on the day of the murder? If you can't prove that, you don't have a case. He's right. How am I going to prove that? Damn it. I was so close. Mr. Wright? It seems you lack the critical evidence to support your claim. Yes, Your Honor. This means I cannot let you indict the This means I cannot let you indict the witness. Unfortunately, this ends the cross-examination of Mr. Frank. Frank Saw it. I come all the way down here to testify, and look what happens. They treat me like a criminal. A criminal! You lawyers are all slime. I almost had him. Sorry, Larry. I failed you. There's nothing I can do about it now. Not so fast, Mr. Sawit. Chief. Listen up, Wright. Don't throw this one away. Not like this. Think. But, Chief, it's over. I can't prove the clock was slow the day of the murder. Nobody can prove that. Well, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't still win. Try thinking out of the box. Don't waste time doubting the facts. Assume the clock was 3 hours slow and think through it. Ask yourself, why was the clock 3 hours slow? Figure out the reason and you'll have your proof. Right. Can you think of a reason as to why the clock would be 3 hours slow? Yes, because she was in Paris the day before the murder, and so the time was probably mapped to Paris time. Although, I don't know what the time difference is actually between Paris and US or Paris and Japan, so I'm going to assume that that is the reason, though. Wait! Maybe I can prove it. You must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? No, you must have evidence somewhere that can prove it, right? Always so hard to get it right. Right? Find it and let them have it. Well, Mr. Wright? You say the clock was already running slow on the day of the murder. Have you found evidence to support this claim? Of course! There's a piece of evidence in the court records that can prove my claim beyond a doubt. Ha! Tough words! Let's you pull this one off. Let's see this evidence that proves why the clock was running slow. So the evidence is that on 7:30 day before the murder, this is probably why. Take that! The victim had just returned from abroad the day before the murder. As we all know, the time difference between here and Paris is 9 hours. Okay, 9 hours. So when it's 4 p.m. there, it's 1 a.m. the next day there. Ah, I see. The clock wasn't 3 hours slow. It was 9 hours fast. The victim hadn't reset her clock since returning home. That's why the time you heard when you struck her dead in her apartment was wrong. Proof enough for you, Mr. Sawit? Or should I say, Mr. Did It! Oh, he fainted. Order! Order, I say! Well, this case has certainly turned out differently than we all expected. Mr. Payne, your client? He was arrested and has been taken away, Your Honor. Very well. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? I have to say, I'm impressed. I don't think I've ever seen someone complete a defense so quickly and find the true culprit at the same time. Okay, so this is one thing too. This case is a lot shorter, I noticed. And they concluded that he was the culprit a lot easier than like later games. But that's fine. Thank you, Your Honor. At this point, this is only a formality, but this court finds the defendant, Mr. Larry Butts, not guilty. Woo! All right! Woo! And with that, the court is adjourned. It turns out that Frank Sawit was a common burglar. He posed as a newspaper salesman to check and see when people were out of the house. That day, when Larry went to her apartment, the victim wasn't home. After he left, Mr. Sawit let himself in to do his dirty work. While he was searching her place, the victim returned. Flustered, Mr. Sawit grabbed the nearest blunt object he could find. Phew. I still can't believe we won. Right, good job in there. Congratulations. Thanks, Chief. I owe it all to you. Not at all, not at all. You fought your own battles in there. It's been a while since I've seen a trial end on such a satisfying note. I've never seen the Chief looking this happy. If she's this glad, I imagine how Larry must feel. My life is over. Larry, you're supposed to be happy. What's wrong now? Oh, Nick. Don't worry about me. I'll be dead and gone soon. Good. Wait, no, I mean, bad, 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 bad. Larry, you're innocent. The case is closed. But my Cindy Windy's gone, man. Gone forever. Larry, she was Nah, never mind. She was not a nice lady. Congratulations, Harry. Harry? Yes, you. I can practically see the headlines now. Harry Butts, innocent. She doesn't even remember his name. Thanks. I really owe you one. I won't forget this, ever. Let's celebrate. Dinner, movie, my treat. Oh no, I couldn't. Hey, I was the one who got you off the hook. Oh hey. Here, take this. It's a present. A present? For me? Wait, wasn't this the evidence that... Actually, I made this clock for her. I made one for her and one for me. Really? You? You made this? Well, thank you. I'll keep it as a memento. Yo, Nick. Can you believe it? I was so into that chick. And she was just playing me for a fool. Don't that make you want to just cry? Larry. Are you so sure? Excuse me? I think she thought quite a lot of you in her own way. Nah, you don't gotta sympathize with me. It's okay. Oh, I'm not just sympathizing, really. Isn't that right? Don't you have something to show your friend? Something that proves how she felt about him? Huh? Oh, yeah. Right. What the heck is she talking about? Something that proves that she cared a lot about him. Probably the statue. Since she took it to Paris, right? I think so. Check this out, Larry. Proof. Positive you weren't just some chump to her. Huh? Where did you get that clock? This is a clock you made for her, Larry. She took it with her when she traveled. She probably just needed a clock, that's all. You think so? It's a pretty heavy clock to take traveling. Well, make of it what we will. Hey, Nick. I'm glad I asked you to be my lawyer. Really, I am. Thanks. Hope that made him feel a little better. Right? I hope you see the importance of evidence now. Also, hopefully you realize things change depending on how you look at them. People, too. We never really know if our clients are guilty or innocent. All we can do is believe in them. And in order to believe in them, you need to believe in yourself. Right. Listen, learn, grow strong. Never let go of what you believe in. Never. Well, I think our work here is done. Shall we be off? Yeah, I guess so. Say, how about dinner on me? Or drink a toast to innocent butts? Yeah. Oh, speaking of Harry, you were saying part of why you became a lawyer was because of him. Yeah, part, at least. You have to tell me more about it sometimes. Maybe over drinks? And so, my first trial came to a close. Larry slapped me on the back and said, "Gee, Nick, it's good to have friends. But I'm pretty sure he's not going to pay me. Unless you count the clock he gave Mia." I didn't know it then, but that clock was soon going to be at the center of another incident. And my promise to tell the chief about me and Larry would be one promise that I wouldn't be able to keep. The end. Okay. Alright, guys, so that was the first chapter, the tutorial. It was rather short and pretty easy. I'm sure it'll escalate more as we progress. If you like what you see, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time.